So my name is Harvinder Singh. I'm from Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. By profession, I am an electrical engineer and an entrepreneur. I run a business which is across the Southeast Asian countries, and my partners are in Germany. But my real what you can say hobby has always, or my real passion has always been community service. So I have been working together with Sikh Naujawan Sabha in Malaysia from the time I was probably 15 years old, and continuously involved in Seva. And after I finished my studies in university in 85, my brother and myself had started a Kirtan Jatha. And we started doing Kirtan across the country in Malaysia, and then we realized that Kirtan is very close to the Gurdwara environment, and we wanted to do something in the larger community. And then we thought very deeply, because we also wanted a platform in which we could engage the youth and keep them occupied in dynamic environments where we could mold them into good Sikhs, into good leaders. At the same time, provide them a platform in which that they can expand their vision, their thinking, and get to share knowledge with people who have more experience than they normally would get from their direct environment. So my brother Sukhdev, who is a pilot with Malaysian Airlines, he flies a 747, used to, anyway he's retired, he used to fly a 747. Both of us at that time got together and decided that we want to do a band. And then it was a choice of which band we would do, and finally we decided on the Scottish Pipe Band, because we found an association with that as well as the community. And in 1986 we finally purchased our first instruments and we started the band. So when we started the band, the whole concept of Scottish Pipe Band music was actually quite alien to us, because you can imagine sitting in Malaysia where there is no pipe bands at all, or pipe bands that played mostly local music, because over the years they sort of localized. And when we wanted to become a Highland or Scottish style pipe band, we found it really challenging, because first of all in the 80s there was no internet, so getting instruments was a challenge. Finding suppliers, you couldn't Google this stuff in those days, and it was a huge challenge for us to find the suppliers. Then for tutoring, for getting the music organized, it was also a huge challenge, because we could only play what we could hear the other guys playing. So there was no streaming in those days, and we could not hear other pipe bands. So we sort of picked up what the other bands were playing in the beginning. But I would say in the last 8 years we have dramatically changed our music, because now with the internet and the whole world becoming flat, we have now live streaming from all over the world. We have tutors that are tutoring us from all over the world. And we were very lucky to meet an excellent pipe major, Barry Gray from Sydney actually. He came over to see us on our first tour when we came in 2009, and he introduced himself, and somehow we clicked with him, and he was so fascinated with the idea of this Sikh Pipe Band that he said, "Look, I'm prepared to come to Kuala Lumpur, to teach you guys." And that's what we did. So we engaged him, and he came to Kuala Lumpur a couple of times. He got our music going, he gave us the right scores, he taught us how to tune. And the highlight of his activity was he brought us to Scotland for the World Pipe Band Championship in 2015, which was an incredible event, because never had an Asian pipe band ever competed at the world level and qualified for the finals. We were the first ever pipe band that qualified for the finals in our grade. And considering what Barry had done for us, it was an incredible experience as well as a journey, because out of not competing at all, that was our first competition, There were 68 bands in our category, and we came out with 15th in the World Pipe Band Championship. So that was quite an incredible and impressive record for us. Over the years, we have of course had invites from many different locations in the world, and in 1999 actually it was our first European trip where we went to London for the 300th anniversary of the Khalsa, and that was a very big trip for us. 38 of us went up to London, and since then of course we have done many other trips. We have been to San Francisco, to Vancouver, to LA, to Berlin, to most of the countries around Southeast Asia, and of course Australia. It's not easy to get a whole band moving like that, because of course financially it takes a lot of effort. But honestly, it's such an amazing thing to experience this travel. And for us, I think the highlight of the whole 30 years of piping and being with Sri Dasmesh was to go to Scotland, the home of the Highland bagpipers. And when we were in Scotland, which is I would say our favorite location, everybody in Scotland knows what a pipe band is. And you know, for the Scottish people, seeing these guys in turbans and wearing these uniforms marching down the street, it was an incredible experience for them, and it was an incredible experience for us. So we shared so much of joy together. And many of the Scottish people came up and told us that you know, their grandparents were with the Sikh regiments fighting in the World War II, and they had, or some of them had spent service time in India. And I even had the experience of meeting a few of the Scotsmen who were actually speaking to me in Punjabi because they were based in India. So honestly, Scotland is our highlight. And we are seriously looking at going back to Scotland as soon as we can organize the finances. The experience in Australia has been very unique. We first got invited here in 2009 by Sikh Youth Australia, and at that time they wanted to portray the Sikh image into the wider community. With all these problems that we have being associated to the wrong elements, I would say terrorism, and with our beards and turbans. So we wanted to project a more positive image of the Sikhs, because we have actually no associations with such things. And so what was the best way for them to do it? They thought that they would get the band across. And when we came in 2009 and we did our first performances in Australia, it was really well received by the Australians. And at the Anzac Day parade, we had it was almost impossible for us to leave the parade grounds, because for the 2 hours after the parade we were still taking pictures with people. Everybody wanted to know who we were, where we were from. So for us, the band is a very important platform to share the identity of the Sikh, who we are, where we come from, and what the turban is about, what the beard is about, and what the Sikh stands for. And you know, this ability to use this platform is something so critical to us. So our journey started in Australia in 2009, and we came back again in 2015, and this now is our third trip to Australia. And at every time we have returned here, the event has gone even to a higher level. So the overall program is so amazing that you know, this tour we have literally been doing 3 performances every day. So it's that kind of recognition and demand for the band. So why did we choose the name Sri Dasmesh? Okay, at the time we started the Kirtan Jatha, we were very much sort of associated with the 10th Guru. We felt that the image of the turban, the bana, this is the gift of Guru Gobind Singh. So when we put on the uniform, we decided that this is his reflection, so let us be his band. So that's why we decided on the Sri Dasmesh as our name. And honestly, it fits us extremely well, and it so well represents. So we always say to all ourselves in the band that we actually represent the army of the Guru, and we are the marching band of the 10th Guru. The challenges that we face in the band, it is tough. It is very tough to play bagpipes and drums in a marching band. To have 30 members in the band coordinating such instruments, you have to be precisely playing the same music at the same time. All the instruments have to be tuned to the same pitch. It's quite a job. And each bagpipe has 4 different reeds, 4 different musical pieces that have to be individually tuned. So it's a huge effort, and of course the effort means that the people in the band must be very patient and must be very consistent with their practices. Otherwise they don't fall out. So our challenge is to retain our members, and number 2, to keep them practicing, to keep on improving. Thank you very much, Good Day India, for giving us this platform to share this information with all of you readers. Thank you again for inviting us here and in Australia, and to be at your studios has really been a privilege.